All right, Schlockmeister fans. Moving on with the Emmanuelle titles, we're going to start in with the second set of the original, or I should say the official Emmanuelle series, the 8th film in the series. This one is called Emmanuelle Forever, not to be confused with Forever Emmanuelle, which is another movie I have. Sylvia Crystal's in this one. Let's check it out.
In the sacred mountains of Tibet, Emmanuelle was chosen to become the incarnation of all women. With one drop of secret perfume, she could become young again or enter the soul of another woman.
This is Emmanuelle, the actress Marcella Wallerstein.
Someday I would return over there to the highest mountains of Tibet.
I guess with a little flashback. She meets George Lazenby, James Bond himself, on the airplane.
Well, my name is...
How are you?
Then we know each other.
We certainly do.
You have the advantage on me.
He doesn't recognize her.
I beg of you. Don't hold me in such a ridiculous situation. Have mercy on this poor soul and tell me your name.
Emmanuelle.
Emmanuel?
Emmanuelle.
It's impossible.
Naturally, he doesn't believe her because she looks 20 years younger than he is, and what Emmanuelle should be. So she starts telling him stories about her past, including this threesome, which I can't show you anything about her.
You remember Ashley Carter?
Well, come on. Emmanuel must have told you about Ashley.
And we learn how she got this power to be young.
At that time, I was lost. I was wondering what was the real meaning of my life, what I was doing on Earth. Then, I was called to meet the Master.
You have been chosen to be the incarnation of every woman on the face of this earth, to accomplish a special task. You have learned. Now you can become every woman. Your own eyes.
So he gives her this like perfume that she puts on her breasts, and by doing though, that will make her young again, or will allow her to project herself into somebody else's body. And now she's Marcella Wallerstein. As her younger self, she immediately porks the master. On the plane, she goes to the bathroom and then comes back as her true self.
So, what happened to the young woman? The one who was playing tricks with me? Don't understand.
I was that young woman. In fact, I am that young woman.
She tells more stories, including a three-way lesbian massage that we're treated to, which I wish I could have showed you. Wow. She tells us another story about how she was taking a bath and there was an intruder in her room.
Hey, what are you doing in my room?
Hey, what are you doing in my bathtub?
After a deep discussion, the two of them hit it off quite nicely.
Yeah,
Well, I'm sure I can find another room.
why bother?
They do what you think they do. Then we're treated to a rock star named Falcon, who Emmanuelle had a thing for a while. And then we meet this woman. There's so much backstage debauchery, I can't even begin to show you anything that's going on around here. But it's cool.
Your life
Another flashback.
and the life of those near you. You can use it, but your heart must be pure.
So she gets the secret elixir in her perfume.
One drop between your breasts, where your heart lies, and you will become any woman you wish to be.
So she goes into the body of this woman. That's the woman we saw behind the scenes in the backstage area. I guess we're supposed to find out if she has the courage enough to
This
be
is
with him.
Great. I'm sorry about tonight.
She does. Then we meet this woman named Jenny. Nerdy
So,
girl.
Now that's how things were up to a few days ago. But by the way, weren't you coming with your traveling companion, snooker balls?
And then we hear about snooker, which is basically pool.
Ivor's a great
And we hear a
snooker
story there, see a story, and
player. He used to be a great player. But he hasn't touched a snooker cue for years.
yeah.
You know.
She continues to tell him,
All
Mario,
I do
story
is
after
calm
story.
down and wait for Artisan Khan's arrival the next day.
You can use it, but your heart must be pure. Put one drop between your breasts, and you can become any other human you have chosen to be.
I think this is a flashback, and Emmanuelle's inside that guy now. I think.
With the Roman Catholic vow. Ours is entirely personal, not a hard, fast law as with them.
You mean you can make love?
How do you think you would react, if Jenny were running around behind your back?
Ah, dear Emmanuelle. Always to the point. Well, that's a question I've often asked myself, and I dare say it wouldn't bother me too much.
I think Emmanuelle's going into that nerdy woman now.
Who's there?
You better have. Come on, we're going downstairs.
What for?
To play ball.
Then we see a brief scene played out on that snooker table, which I can't show you either. She's got a nice thong on, though.
And I always taught a lesson.
They both were.
And the divorce was swift and bitter.
No divorce. Ivor mended his ways. And they lived happily ever after. Their sex life took off like a rocket.
All right, let's talk about Emmanuelle Forever. Like I said at the beginning, not to be confused with Forever Emmanuelle, which is another movie I have in my collection. No relation to this one. This one stars Sylvia Crystal again. This is the second set of 7 of the Emmanuelle movies, official Emmanuelle movies. It kind of carries over a little bit from Emmanuelle 7, although there's no plot similarities whatsoever. But there's a couple character crossovers. I don't know, none of it makes really any sense when you hear the plots of this one. So in this series of 7, we learned that Emmanuelle, 20 years ago, or I don't know how long ago, she went to some monk in Tibet and got some secret perfume or some sort of elixir that if she puts it on her breast, in her cleavage, it can transform her into a younger version of herself, looking differently also. And she's like the embodiment of woman. She can become any woman she wants, and she can be any woman she wants. She can go into somebody's body and basically possess them and do whatever. And of course, it's all related to sex. She can have sex through other people, and other people can have sex through her. It's a mishmash of things. So she boards an airplane as her younger self, and she sits next to George Lazenby, who you might remember from, I think it was On Her Majesty's Secret Service, a James Bond movie, the one movie he did. She knew George Lazenby years earlier, and so she introduces herself, and of course he doesn't recognize her because she looks very young at this point. She's played by different actors, obviously, not Sylvia Crystal. And eventually she reveals herself to be Emmanuelle, and he's like, "You're full of shit." And then she starts revealing things that make him start to believe, do you know Emmanuelle? You must have known her, told you stories. And then she goes to the bathroom and comes back as Emmanuelle Sylvia Crystal. And then she tells the story of how she got this elixir and everything else, and now she can, it's basically the fountain of youth. She can be whoever she wants to be whenever. And she sits there on this airplane and tells that story, as well as various sexual escapades she's had with lesbian massages, a rock star, a snooker player, a pool player, whatever. The rest of the movie is just basically one sexual liaison after another. Now, again, this is not hardcore stuff. It's softcore. I don't believe any of these movies ever played on cable, though, because I probably would have taped them at the time, because I was definitely taping Emmanuelle movies at that time, and don't recall ever seeing any of these, knowing that they existed. Didn't find out till years later that they existed. Now, apparently Sylvia Crystal agreed to do these roles because she needed some money, and she was going to be in this, though, in a non-sexual role, non-nude role, and that's what she did. So for the next 6 films after this one, It's basically her on an airplane with George Lazenby telling story after story after story after story, and then we see those stories played out. And Emmanuelle is played by an actress named Malaria Wallerstein, who I believe was like in a Miss Venezuela pageant or something. She's a beautiful actress, of course, and she has no problem getting naked all the time, unlike Sylvia Crystal, apparently, at this point in her career. So, but anyway, that's really the story. There's not a whole hell of a lot of plot here. Plenty of nudity, though. Plenty of nudity, if that's what you're looking for. Yeah, and that's nice looking ladies, too. So, I don't know what you can say about that. Anyway, Emmanuelle Forever is available on a couple different DVDs. I got this compilation here, or this box set, I should say. And I think this is foreign because it had subtitles on it, which I took off. It's from the Netherlands, I think, which I think is where Sylvia Crystal's from. But I believe these are available in a Blu-ray form, actually. It's called like the Emmanuelle, the TV series, something like that. I think these were all made for cable somewhere, and they all came out within a few months of each other back in 1993. So anyway, I'll be doing Emmanuelle's Revenge next, not to be confused with another movie called Emmanuelle's Revenge, which only had one M, whereas this one has two. I've already reviewed that one. So anyway, check it out. Let me know what you think about it. I'll leave a link to something down below that you can click to buy it if you want it. And let me know what you think about it. Emmanuelle Forever. Watch it. Bye.